Okay, so where were we? Um, we want to fit the arpeggio into this vertical column here, and it means finding these numbers. And that's what the crux of this lesson is about, is reading this here. All arpeggios fit into proper pentatonic scales. Don't worry about the word proper. They are exact. They're all the same. So they fit into pentatonic scales. If you wanted to do an arpeggio, let's get to the next diagram after I read this. Use the pattern S3S, S2Ls, these guys, to form the scales. And think about the number in the patterns. In other words, think about what you're playing. Okay, so let's look at the C shape because we filled in more of the numbers on this one. If we want to play, let's say, starting from this 5, want to play arpeggio. 5, 7, 2, 5. What it is if you don't have the diagram, all you have to do is memorize these two building blocks, okay? And you count them. So it would be, this would start at 5, 6. All right, this particular, actually this one starts at 3, 4, 5, right here, okay? This pattern. So you would choose a note that you want to be your 3, or you could do it in anywhere, but it's going to form a key as you're playing, So you can't do this on the piano, You can't just start on any key and go like this. You'd have to hit the proper sharp or flat, but you can do it on the guitar. So starting from this E here, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. Okay, and then you just take it into 2, 3, 4, goes right on top of that. Just keep counting. 6, 7, root, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's, but then you got to warp it over. So you warp the 5, 6 over. I kind of lost my place here. So now C is wonderful because once you warp it over, all right, instead of, and we did that, we warped this C over. So we better move on to another diagram. All right, it's a little misleading now that this C is warped over already. We did that. Okay. So we're going to fit it in, essentially. Looking at this C is play it as you see it. These guys are unwarped. Any pattern is unwarped. This is unwarped. But it's mostly the same. It's just a little tuning warp there. In your head, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. Okay, you want to do an arpeggio that goes 5, 7, 2. So you just know that 5, where 5 is in this pattern, and you kind of keep thinking about, internalize where 7 is in this pattern. Now the way to do it, I'm going to show you. It's easy. The way to do it, all right, isn't this particular chart right here. It's this chart right here. The way to do it now, this is the new chart here. We're on the new stuff. This is the major scale toolbox. Okay, I call it the toolbox. All right. Do you recognize the S2L? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. The only reason it's black is so it stands out, and the only reason it's black is because I changed the color to negative all channels, so it would stand out rather than repaint it. I just used the image program to do that, so it would stand out. So that's why some of these colors come out weird, because they're really just the opposite of the other colors. But there is a color theme, that I have for colors. For instance, the Aeolian 6th minor arpeggio is in blue there. It's in the light blue, okay? The 2s and the 4s are different, are not part of that. All right, because Aeolian, remember, is 6 root 3. All right, and these 2s and 4s, those are part of the Dorian, but actually in that particular drawing, they're part of 7/2 diminished. Whoa. Anyway, in any of these arpeggios, just look for the arpeggio that goes off to the left. But this is how you do the arpeggio that goes straight up. Okay, so let's just look at the simplest box right here. This is C. This is your first box on guitar. Okay, and then it's C. Right there you see the C, R3, R3, then the red 5, then R, and the 3 there. Okay, but if we're just doing a, say we want to do a, an arpeggio in one of those colors. Now, see, this one has all of them. This has all of them in root. So here's 5, starting from way up here on that G up there, and going up to this 2. 4 starts on this F here, okay, and it's missing a number there, but I'm sorry, that's just a typo on and that's what happens when I reuse these things. The error propagates, so I got to fix them. This is the Lydian 4th arpeggio. It starts on a 4 and goes to a 6. That's a 6 there. You see it's 5 and 7 surrounding. It's got to be a 6. All right, so I'll just start it down here. All right, it's the Lydian arpeggio. Okay, and then we have, it goes up straight up to a 6, to a root. All right, and this is each one of the root arpeggios, but I have diagrams that show the individual arpeggios, and we can show how to go straight vertically up within the cage. Before we do that, I want you to look at this and think about this. Please, this is all it is. This is all it is and ever is going to be as far as learning these two patterns. Each string fragment or scale fragment has these these minor third, these whole step, half step, whole step relationships. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the bottom of Mestriel. If you want a 3 and you're looking at the C, the 3 is going to be the one that's the first one of that fragment. The 5 is going to be the second. Okay, so we don't have to count, like if we're doing a E minor arpeggio, we don't have to do the minor third to get this 5 here. This 5 comes back around down here on the string underneath it anyway, and that I'm going to be talking more about in the future. But another way to render these guys, but you can do it by the pattern. So it's 3, 5, skip the 6 because it's not part of 3, 5 root, and then hit the root there. Going on to the next pattern, we're looking for 3, 5 root. So with the 2, okay, then we got a 3 there, so it's 2, 3, 4. So you can play the scale first. Alright, so on that S3L there, we're going to only want the 3 there, we're only going to want the 5 there, we're only going to want the root there. Before, I admit I was trying to make a shape out of it, and it will, you will recognize these chord shapes, but it's also equally as easy to know where the numbers are. So any of the arpeggios you want to do, you just choose the numbers out of this toolbox, and that's it.